In this lesson, I'm going to share with you my top 5 tips for growing a successful YouTube channel. I'm Charles Malky, biologist and plant expert with Ivory Organics, where we grow cool plants and author of Saving the World with the Home Garden. And Ivory Organic is inviting all of you to collaborate with us in this 2021 year, and the details will follow the 5 tips that I'm going to share with you first. So let's get started. Quick background before we get started is that Ivory Organic started its YouTube channel in October of 2015. Ivory Organic uploaded its first 3 commercials that it tied into its website and then left it alone for several months. It wasn't until April of 2016 that I personally did a demonstration using the Ivory Organics garden products, and from there we got our first YouTube subscriber, and from there I continuously did demonstrations, growing the channel by about 5 to 10 more subscribers a month. And then a few months later, another 10, 20, 30 more subscribers a month, and the channel continued to flourish. And again, due to your viewing, due to your thumbs up, liking our videos, due to your sharing these important gardening lessons with your gardening friends and family, and also by writing comments, and all of these impressions that you put on each of these videos helps bring them to awareness throughout the YouTube community. And it is again by your support and your encouragement that help us accomplish all that we've accomplished today. And we're very grateful to that. And again, that's the reason that I'm sharing with you for the first time our YouTube tips and the things I've learned from my YouTube coaches as well. And I want to share that with you, to all the YouTubers that are out there, in addition to those that want to get started on YouTube. So I'm hoping that this helps inspire you to get started, and I hope that this will help become a channel that you can monetize, which you can accomplish once you achieve. And I know there's more rules behind it than just this, but once you get to about 1,000 subscribers, you can begin to monetize your channel, and YouTube will actually pay you for the number of views you attract to your channel every single month. Money that can be applied towards offsetting your grocery bills, travel, car lease payments, and so forth. But I would not encourage you to go into creating a YouTube channel or investing too much time in a YouTube channel if you're going to be relying on it solely for paying your mortgage or supporting your family and so forth. I know that there's a lot of YouTubers out there that have successfully accomplished greatness and financial freedom on YouTube, but I would personally at least start off making this a passion-driven endeavor. Share your experiences, and your audience will help you learn as you continue to grow your YouTube channel. As many of you know, and for those of you that have been following us since 2015, 2016, Ivory Organics was originally a white can. It was only available in colors white, and it was with demand and with the communication and the interaction, not just through YouTube, but all of our social media, as well as emails, that we then began to change the colors. We've also offered colors brown and green. And then from there, we did an oil-free solution where pests weren't an issue in the garden. And from there, we've continuously now grown into creating a fertilizer that also offers your plants all the 6 macronutrients, which is unlike pretty much every other fertilizer brand product that's on the market. So all of these things were accomplished by listening, learning, interacting, and growing as a community. And again, this is our gift to you with, again, giving you some more tools to make your YouTube channel better for those YouTubers that are already in existence, and also to hopefully inspire and get more YouTube channels started. And we're gonna help fuel that right here, right now, and let's get started. So tip number 1, you are the only you. I'm the only me. And even if you have an idea that's already been done, the fact that you're teaching it and you have your style and you have your way of communication and you have your way of explaining things is going to attract other like-minded people. We have all had experiences in school, whether it be elementary school or high school or college, where we had that professor that we just didn't get. They were saying all the right things, but we just didn't like hearing it presented by that person. It could have been tone, it could have been style, it could have been age, it could have been whatever. And at the end of the day, like I said, it doesn't matter what the topic is, it doesn't matter if it has already been done. The fact that it's you're gonna attract people, you will gain subscribers, and your channel will grow. So think about what it is that your YouTube channel content is going to be about. Think about a title, think about all of these things, especially for your new YouTubers, what it is that you're going to deliver. For those of you that are already in existence, you can kind of see whether you've got 1 video or 10 videos or 100 videos now, and see where your audience is wanting, and you're gonna take your channel in that direction. And they will help you evolve from day to day, week to week, month to month, and year to year. Ivory Organic started its YouTube channel in late 2015 on the gardening concept known as whitewashing. If there was an encyclopedia on gardening, whitewashing would simply be a paragraph. It's one of the least understood and least applied method in the garden, yet you could be doing your fertilizing right, your mulching right, your watering right, everything right, but your plants are burning, especially when you plant them and whenever you do summer pruning, which typically follows your summer harvest of fruits. You might be thinning out the tree, opening the canopy, and contributing again to more sunburn. And so what we did for the first 200 videos over the course of 2 to 3 years was simply whitewash an avocado tree in one lesson. We whitewashed a citrus tree in another lesson. We whitewashed an olive tree in another lesson. We whitewashed roses in another lesson. And we simply painted trees from day to day, week to week, year to year for the first 200 videos, and with it grew to become the leading garden product YouTube channel in the United States. And again, that only happened because of you. You would think, how boring is it? How is it possible that people would want to watch trees being painted day to day, week to week, and month to month, and year to year when it's simply just a different tree? But there were other lessons that were to be learned in each of the lessons where we're whitewashing and protecting our plants. And shortly thereafter, we got now the fertilizers that we also incorporate into our gardening lessons. And we have a lot more products coming out later this spring and again this summer. So be on the lookout for that. And that's my cue to encourage all of you that have not done so already is to subscribe and hit that push bell notification, reminding you that every time we share an important educational gardening lesson, that you get notice of that in your queue on your computer so that you can watch it and learn from us here on the Ivory Organics Gardening YouTube channel. Still under tip number 1, being you're the only you. My dream has always been to teach. I've always wanted to be a university professor, and maybe it's still in my cards in the near future. However, YouTube has offered me, and this is again the primary drive behind the education here on the Ivory Organics Garden YouTube channel, is I love to teach, and it's been so fulfilling to watch that every single day I'm teaching an approximate 10 to 50,000 people a day, and it continues to grow. It is extremely satisfying, and I know a lot of you YouTubers that are out there teaching, you understand what I'm talking about in regards to the satisfaction and gratification you get by sharing your knowledge and your wisdom and your experiences that, for me, I inherited from my parents, grandparents, and also integrated with my education in biology, predominantly focused in botany and the plant sciences, and bringing that education to you and all the things that I learned from year to year and continuously delivering it through the Ivory Organics Garden YouTube channel. So teaching is the primary drive for me and the inspiration and motivation that helped us, I believe, grow as quickly and as strongly as we have so far today. The last thing I want to share in regards to this tip number 1 is that money should not be the driving force and factor in creating a YouTube channel. About 2 to 3 years ago, YouTube did a cleanup where there was a lot of false accounts that were like subscribing to these channels, and or YouTube also changed the monetization where, you know, maybe you get a penny for every 2 to 3 clicks, and maybe they changed it to 4 or 5 clicks or views to your YouTube channel. And a lot of us experienced a huge nosedive in regards to the amount that we were expecting for the month. And that was due to YouTube collaborating how they were going to do their payout on the monetization of the YouTube channels. And this was globally. For those people that were relying on that monthly YouTube check, that would be devastating. And that's the reason for the caveat, is that you shouldn't be relying on YouTube exclusively for your income, because YouTube can change its terms in regards to the number of views for the amount of monetization you're getting. And that can change at any time, and you're at their mercy. So again, I want to make clear that money should not be the driving force behind creating and inspiring the growth of your YouTube channel. Well, let's get on to tip number 2. Tip number 2 is cameras are expensive, right? Wrong. I'm simply using my iPhone. If you take a look, we're simply recording off of this. And if I can turn the cameras around, I'm now recording you. And you can see, I've simply got typically my wife sitting there, Sometimes my daughter will be sitting there. And we've had professionals on rare occasions helping with the recording. But I would say over 90% of our videos are created simply using an iPhone and the tripod to support the camera. So you've got your cell phone. The tripod is approximately $40. And then if I ever need anyone to get closer to me or to zoom in on something I'm trying to share, again, typically my wife or my daughter will bring in the camera a little closer so that we can get a closer image of what it is that I'm trying to demonstrate and share with you. So that's all it takes to get started. Again, your camera, tripod, done. I have a lot of friends that have got YouTube channels or they started one and then they stopped it and they're like, I got to invest a few $100s and I want to get a professional camera and all of that. And that's all great, swell, and I encourage you all to do it, but pace yourself. Grow your YouTube channel, grow your audience, make it exciting, improve from week to week, month to month, year to year. Pace yourself. Make sure this is something that in fact you can do and sustain it, because YouTube is also counting on you to continuously deliver content. And again, this now comes from my YouTube coaches. This is another tip, but I'm keeping it under tip number 2, is that you need to be delivering content on average 2 to 3 times every single week. That's a ton of work. We did it in the initial year, but something I do, and a lot of you that have been watching my YouTube channel know, is that I'll deliver a lot of content. I'll deliver 45 minutes, I'll deliver an hour worth of content. And the YouTube coaches say, if you want to maximize on subscriberships, on views, and followers, and clicks, and ultimately monetization, you should have taken that 60 minutes, you should have taken that 40 minutes, you should have taken even that 30 minutes and cut it into 3 parts. The ideal YouTube video should be somewhere between 5 to 7 minutes on the low to about 12 minutes on the high. By going over 10 minutes, it also allows YouTube to impress, if you allow them with monetization, to put up to 2 commercials in a 10 to 12 minute lesson. So again, further increasing your monetization. That's not something we do. You may notice that there's some commercials that may pop up at the beginning of a YouTube lesson, but we don't overdo it, as you may have experienced with other YouTube channels that you watch, where every 5 minutes there might be another commercial, because they are just squeezing the value out of each view that they're getting per lesson that they're trying to share. Also under tip number 2 is microphones, and you may notice that I am not mic'd today, but I have been mic'd several times over the course of several years. And the issue with being mic'd, whether it be wireless or with wires, obviously with wires you're constrained in regards to the distance, but in this situation I am not mic'd because I find that the cell phone mic, and as long as I'm within about 6 to 8 feet of the camera, has excellent sound, and I'm hoping you guys are appreciating it, and I'm really good at carrying my voice forward. But if I were mic'd, sometimes the sound is a little bit too much, creating an echo, especially if I don't tone it down and be aware of the fact that the mic is only 2 inches away from my face. The other thing too is sometimes the mic will offer a muffled sound, and again, hindering quality. But if there's any one of you out there that recommend a mic, I'm really curious and would be interested in to hear what it is that you use that you like. Preferably wireless would be great. And it would be ideal, obviously, to be carrying a mic, especially if you're going to be turning around. And now the voice is in that direction, and you can see how different the sound was, being that I turned and didn't carry my voice in that same direction towards the camera phone that's straight in front of me. So that's another consideration. And again, beware of the fact that the majority, I'd say almost 90% of our lessons are done not being mic'd up, in a flat and along the path fashion. And if it grows a little wider, that's fine, but I just don't want the branches this early on pointing in the wrong direction. Tip number 3, editing. Editing is the worst. This is the hardest part. I can create a YouTube lesson in 30 minutes. I can create a YouTube lesson in 2 hours, but I can easily spend 4 to 6 hours now editing those lessons. It's exhausting. It's hard work. And you need to develop the skills to make it hopefully an enjoyable experience for those watching. For those of you that want to take a minute and go back into the Ivory Organics history, you can see the embarrassment and the growth and the evolvement of the Ivory Organics YouTube channel when we're simply using the primitive YouTube editing tools, which were available when we started in 2015, 16, and I think somewhere between 16 and 17, YouTube took a lot of those tools away. There's still some simple editing things you can do, such as splicing on a video, but a lot of the user tools that were available then have been taken away. And it was with that transition that I went to using a product known as Filmora. Filmora costs about $40 to $60 to buy the software. And from there, you'll have the tools to splice videos, to add sound, to add some graphics, and it's basically there that you're gonna be creating the YouTube content. And just uploading time alone, going from camera phone to computer, sometimes would take me an hour or two. And then from there, I would spend about another 2 to 4 more hours on the edits and delivering the content. The hardest part of editing our YouTube videos would typically be the first couple of minutes. Can sometimes take upwards of 30 to 60 minutes just to make sure that they're perfect. And also the conclusions. Those are usually the hardest ones to make sure that they hook the viewer and seem interesting and hopefully help pull those viewers into the entire content. The goal is to create a really good hook in your YouTube lesson. The first 5 to 10 seconds, you should hopefully intrigue your viewer and motivate them and encourage them to watch it through. YouTube is judging you on how well you're able to hold your viewers all the way to the end. And that is an important part of creating an effective and meaningful YouTube lesson. So after using the primitive YouTube editor, then we went to Filmora, and now we're using a product that's on our cell phones called VLLO. And VLLO is again, software editing program that you can install on your phone, saving you the time to now upload the content off your phone and back onto your computer, whether it be an iPad or whatever. But that whole transfer of information and the time that's involved with that upload is now eliminated because you're simply editing in the same place where the video is created, which is on your phone. So having VLLO has been awesome. The cost is only about $7, no more than 10, last I looked. So about $7 to $10 compared to Filmora, which is about $40 to $60. So another saving, and also convenience factor being you're able to edit in the same place that you're creating. You'll truly thank me for that. And we're in the process of now integrating and learning and expanding our skills into using a Mac computer and using the DaVinci software programs. And that's something I'm hoping to teach you guys as I get more familiar in the upcoming months. So we are evolving. This is going to be our technology number 4 that we've used over the last 5-year history of being on YouTube. Tip number 4, making a great thumbnail is priceless. You can have the best content, but if you have a poor thumbnail, you're actually chasing viewers away. And we actually had that issue in our initial years. We had a YouTube coach that said if 10 videos on the same lesson, if we had one of those lessons up there, we were only attracting 5 to 7% of the viewership. Instead of the average should have been at 10%. But a quality thumbnail is, again, the invitation and the window into your lesson. When you're compared against 10, you got to make sure that yours is hopefully one of the better ones and attracting hopefully better than I did in my history of only attracting 5 to 7%. Hopefully you're going to be doing a better job of attracting that 20 to 30% when compared to 10 other similar related videos. So a good thumbnail, and my tip for creating a thumbnail is 1, start on PowerPoint. If you don't want to design your own thumbnail, you can actually hire Fiverr. And I told you, a good thumbnail can take anywhere from 5 minutes to upwards of 30 minutes plus. But if your time is worth more than $5, you can simply go to Fiverr and give them the conditions for creating a thumbnail for you, and you'll have one that will likely be better than anything you can possibly create because they're done by professional graphic artists. And you have dozens you can choose from, and if you don't like it, you can hire someone else and invest another $5 and get usually several choices of thumbnails to pick from. And again, they're all professionally done. A simple $5 investment, and you save yourself a half an hour of time. My third recommendation for making thumbnails is using, again, an app you can download on your phone, and that's called PixArt. Nearly all the thumbnails published on the Ivory Organics YouTube channel since October of 2020 were exclusively made using the PixArt app. Tip number 5, be consistent, be brief. It's helpful to have, as I've done here, notes. Before you get on, try to be prepared with what it is that you're gonna say. if you watch again in the history of the Ivory Organics YouTube channel, I'd have a topic and then I'd talk about 10 other topics. But that topic was there, but I talked about 10 other things. If you have 10 other things to talk about, consider making 10 different lessons. That way, for the person that's going to be looking for that information, they can easily delve and dive into and learn exactly what it is that they want to know. And then if they want more of it, you can direct them into links below your video that will continuously invite them and encourage them to continue watching and learning from you, that they can find those topics that relate to those issues that you want to discuss. In line with being consistent and brief, and as was already stated before, try to keep your lessons between 7 to 12 minutes, maybe 15. But if you're gonna end up talking for 30, 40, 50 plus minutes, seriously consider having a part 1, 2, and 3, depending on how long this lesson is, and try to have specific topics that maybe I would want to learn about, maybe just in your part 1, and maybe not so interested in parts 2 or 3, or just vice versa. So do your best to keep your lessons brief, stay on point, and do your best to keep your viewers engaged to watch through the duration of your lesson that you're trying to share. So those are my top 5 YouTube tips that I hope inspire you to get out there and start a YouTube channel. And for those of you YouTubers out there, just want to hopefully inspire and encourage you to continue producing effective, informative, and educational content for viewers all around the world. If that wasn't enough to inspire you to get out there and create more YouTube content, or at least get started, Ivory Organic now has a collaboration invitation for you to get started and use the Ivory Organics garden products on your YouTube channel for free. For the first 100 people to participate, simply email us at info@ivorganics.com. All of the contest rules will be in the description below this video, and I'm gonna share a few and highlight a few of those important ones right now, and let's get started. So you've helped us grow by liking, and be sure to like this one too, subscribing, hitting that push bell notification, sharing us with your gardening friends and family. And maybe this is another lesson you're gonna wanna share with your nieces and nephews and neighbors that are gardeners, and encourage them to also share their gardening experiences, and then also using the Ivory Organic gardening products in their garden. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a gardening channel. What Ivory Organics is offering through this collaborative effort is for you to launch your YouTube lesson on the Ivory Organics channel. And all we're asking of is in your 5 to 12 minute lesson is that you spend just 1 minute, or somewhere between 5 to 20% of the time. Unlike in the past collaborative efforts where someone would do an entire lesson using Ivory Organics brand products, all you need to do is just spend a minute letting us know how it is that you use either the Ivory Organics ready-to-use spray bottle, or the 3-in-1 plant guard protection against damaging summer sunburn, insects, and rodents, or the whitewash formula, which is oil-free, and therefore just offering the summer sunburn, winter sun scald protection, or the fertilizers, the Ivory Organics Super and Premium Blend fertilizers. Super Blend now contains azomite. The Ivory Organics fertilizers, originally named the 6 Macros Plus, always and still has all the macronutrients plants need. All 6 macronutrients being nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, magnesium, sulfur, and calcium. What I'm asking is that for you guys to just do a 1 minute share on how it is that you use Ivory Organics products in your garden, and then teach us about anything else. So whether you've got a YouTube channel on automotive or makeup or cooking or fitness or whatever it is that your YouTube channel is doing and trying to teach, we're giving you a platform here with our 150,000 plus subscribers, and wanting you to share and introduce yourself and simply integrate a way for you to share also your garden and how you're using the Ivory Organics brand products. And we're offering that again to the first 100 people to reach out to us. Again, simply email us, and this is the information we're looking for, at info@ivorganics with your name, your ship to address, and which of these products you'd like to demonstrate in your garden. Again, I don't need to repeat it, but you see it, and you can go to ivorganics.com to see those items. Simply email us what you would like, and you get it for free anywhere in the world, shipping included. And for those of you YouTubers that have promoted Ivory Organics products in the past, you can pick 2. and you don't have to demonstrate both products, but you get to pick any 2 items that you see here to my right, and we will ship it to you for free. And thank you again for all of your support. We enjoy collaborating with you, and we look forward to another successful year together. Another helpful tip is to be very clear and make sure you use those first 5 to 10 seconds to hook the viewer. You may notice in some of the more recent YouTube publications by Ivory Organics that we've inserted a few 2 to 3 second snips from the highlights from the video within those 5 to 10 seconds, so you can see quickly what's going to happen later on as you continue to watch the lesson that we're sharing. That's our hook. Try to find a way to hook those viewers in that first 5 to 10 seconds to stay motivated to watch all the way to the end. What we're going to be doing with your lesson is basically sharing the first half so within that first halfway point of your video, be sure to include the Ivory Organics products. And then what we're going to do is try to encourage everyone else to continue watching by following the link that'll be down below that video description, where they will then follow the link, watch your video to the entirety, and hopefully we'll together be encouraging them to subscribe and hit that push bell notification to stay continuously informed and educated on the content that it is that you're delivering on your channel. We're also asking that from the time you receive one of the Ivory Organics products, that you create the video within 90 days. And with that video, that you also create your own thumbnail, which you're going to be sharing with us, in addition to the video description that you're going to share with us as well, that we may modify, in addition to also preparing the tags. And there should be about 20 tags to each video. And I see a lot of YouTubers not using tags in their video description. And by inserting tags, and I'm not talking about hashtags, but actual tags that YouTube is looking for, where you would write phrases such as how to plant a tomato plant, and how to water a tomato plant, and how to fertilize a tomato plant, and how to actually get more impressions than if you simply insert the word tomato or tomato plant. But by using the word how to and top 5 and so forth, you'll actually get more views than if you simply insert words. So consider phrases for your tags instead of using simply words. That's another lesson by some of our earlier coaches. Last thing is that, again, you do not have to be a gardening channel in order to participate. All are welcome, but the one caveat that we have is that you must have a YouTube channel in existence, where, again, all the contest rules are below. We're asking that you do share in that initial email to us your YouTube link, and you must have at least one edited YouTube video. It can't be any video. It's got to be something that you've created and you've uploaded, just as what you're going to be doing with the video that we're looking for, inserting a lesson using the Ivory Organics brand products. And you got to have at least 1 subscriber. We want to see that you've made at least some effort before we help fuel and help you grow and accomplish your growing success, not necessarily with plants, but your growing success on your YouTube channel as well. We are so excited about being a part of your growing success, and as always, keep growing with Ivory Organics, and always wishing you happy gardening.